Hey, Anthony,
Yeah.
did you see that 7 House Democrats voted to fund ICE?
Yes, I did. Traitors one and all, and Democrats in name only. Especially given that one of them, Henry Cuellar, is the Democrat that Trump pardoned for over a dozen charges of bribery, money laundering, and conspiracy.
Wow. And who else voted to fund ICE?
Well, aside from Cuellar, who is from Texas, there's also Vicente Gonzalez from Texas, Jared Golden from Maine, Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez from Washington, Laura Gillen from New York, Tom Suozzi from New York, and Don Davis from North Carolina. Interestingly, there was actually one Republican that opposed the bill, Thomas Massie, who is also the only Republican that is still fighting to have the Epstein files released.
And what does the bill say?
Well, it's a federal funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security, which is led by Kristi Noem. It allocates $10 billion to ICE, $18.3 billion to Customs and Border Protection, and roughly $30 billion to comparatively non-controversial agencies like the Coast Guard and the TSA. There are also some token attempts to restrict ICE and undo some of the damage the Trump administration has done in various DHS departments. But given the Trump administration's complete disregard for the law and Congress and the Supreme Court's inability to hold him accountable for that, I don't consider those attempts to be sufficient enough to matter. Notably, the bill also includes about $32 billion in funding for FEMA, including about $26 billion for the Disaster Relief Fund. And it's this funding that is being pointed to by several of the Democrats who voted in favor for the bill as their excuse for supporting it. Which almost sounds like a valid reason until you consider that the Trump administration has consistently weaponized FEMA during both terms, right? He routinely denies or severely delays FEMA aid, especially to blue states, and when he does approve it, it's often only a partial approval. So while I have nothing against FEMA itself, I'm not buying that disaster funding is the reason these Democrats backed the bill, especially considering that the bill funds the much larger national disaster that is called ICE. FEMA is just a convenient excuse for these Democrats to continue to be exactly what they are, which is controlled opposition.
So what do we do about them?
Well, every single one of them needs to be forced out of office by the Democratic leadership, or failing that, since, to be honest, it's not very likely, by their constituents. We cannot wait for the midterms. The 7 Democrats voted to fund the private military police force that is on an active campaign of hate and terror across the United States, and that recently murdered an American citizen in broad daylight and then tried to gaslight the nation into believing otherwise. And these reps shouldn't have the luxury of waiting for their term to end to be primaried. We certainly don't have the luxury of time.